Hi everybody, foXnoMad here, and today I want to help you travel smarter by showing you an incredible train journey all the way across Turkey from Ankara to Kars. Now this is the Doe Express, which means the East Express, and it starts in Ankara, but I'm in Istanbul right now taking the train to Ankara, so I wanted to just give you a little bit of an idea of how that works.
The Doe Ekspresi, or Eastern Express, has been traveling across Turkey since 1936. Originally taking off from the Haydarpaşa terminal in Istanbul, it now runs from Ankara to Kars in Turkey's northeast. These days, the connection between Istanbul and Ankara has been replaced by high-speed rail, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can take this incredible train journey yourself. This is everything you need to know about the Doğu Ekspresi.
There's basically a high-speed train that takes about 4.5 hours to get from Istanbul to Ankara, and it stops a couple of times along the way. And there are two cabins. There's the business class and there's a regular class, and the difference is a meal and some more seating, more legroom and things like that. But the difference between those two classes isn't huge, and the price is about double. So if you want business class, you can pay about double, but either one is not too expensive if you convert them into US dollars. So right now I'm about an hour into the train journey, making my way to Ankara to get the next train, which is going to be a 30-hour journey across the country. So this train journey is pretty comfortable. There is Wi-Fi, which basically doesn't really work. It's half on, half off Wi-Fi. So you're probably going to want to just get a SIM card before you get on the train. They do give you a meal, so a small little snack, a sandwich, some juice, some water, a little bit of refreshment on your way. Oh, and in case you're wondering what the bathroom looks like on this high-speed train, not bad actually, it's pretty clean. The time is about 4.5 hours, so it's not super high speed, but it's definitely the fastest way to get by rail from Istanbul to Ankara. Now, when I was checking in for the train, one of my tickets, the ticket from Istanbul to Ankara, was on the wrong date. So it was set the date after the train that I'm taking from Ankara today. So I would just say make sure you triple check your tickets when you buy them to make sure that the date is correct. Now, you can buy the tickets online, but usually they don't accept foreign credit cards, so you're going to have to go to a train station or one of the other outlets throughout Istanbul or wherever you happen to be in Turkey to get train tickets. Just make sure that you check the date and the time to make sure that those are correct. Otherwise, you'll be like me and have to change your ticket at the last minute and hope that you are really, really lucky, which turns out I was today. Now in the business class wagon here, you have 2 rows of seats. One is a single line of seats, and the other one is basically 4 people. And one faces the way the train is going, the other one faces back. So when you're booking your ticket, you can ask if you want to go, make sure you're facing the direction of the train. Now, if you want to get the best views on the train going from Istanbul to Ankara, make sure you get a seat on the right side of the train, because that way you'll get a lot of sea views. You get to see the coastline as the train goes, at least in the beginning part of the journey, which is really nice. On the left side of the train, you do get single seats, so you'll just be in a single seat by yourself. You don't have to sit next to anybody, but you get more landscapes and more apartment buildings, so it's not quite as nice, but the train is big enough and their windows are big enough that you can actually see both sides, so it's not a problem. If you really want those videos and the photos, and you want to take a lot of them on your way, make sure you stick to the right side. Otherwise, you can just walk back here into this cabin area between the cars and get all the pictures that you want from either side. Alright, so I just arrived in the Ankara train station, and it was a pretty smooth ride, I have to say, coming from Istanbul on the fast rail. It took about 5 hours, about a little less than 5 hours to get here. Pretty smooth, very comfortable. Definitely recommend it as a means of travel. But now I just have enough time in this massive train station to get some food, get some water, pick up some snacks. There are some grocery stores here, and it's a pretty big train station. It's like a mall. I mean, there are shops and all kinds of places to eat. So I'm just going to stock up and get ready, because I have just in a couple hours now in the evening the train all the way across to Kars.
The Doe Ekspresi always leaves in the evenings from the Ankara train station close to 6 p.m. If you're arriving from Istanbul, make sure you time your arrival with a few hours to spare. Aside from a few snacks, there is no food served on the Doe Express. You heard right, you'll need to bring all the food you'll need for a 30+ hour train journey with you. Water is sold on the train, but getting a few large bottles before getting on board will be much more convenient since they only sell small bottles. Alright, so if you're coming from Istanbul to Ankara, you're gonna go to the old train station, which is basically just a couple minutes walk outside of the newer terminal over to the older terminal. That's where the Doe Express takes off from. Now there's a couple of different options for seats. You can get a bed, you can get basically a sleeper cabin, and those hold 4 people, so you can get 4 of your friends, or you can either book an entire room if possible, but they get filled up pretty quickly, so you're going to want to book those in advance if you can, especially during the summer and the more busy seasons. So there are 2 different types of Doe Express. One is basically almost like a commuter train, you can call it. It's basically the local train, one that goes to a bunch of different stops all the way across Turkey, and it's used for people to basically go where they need to get to. But it became so popular with tourists that they actually opened up a second one, which is a touristic version, which basically goes to all the way in the same route, but it has 5 stops where it stops for a couple of hours in different cities. So if you want to get out and maybe just do a little bit of sightseeing, you can do that. So what I chose to do was to go with the local one. And also I decided I'm going to go with the seat. I'm going to see what the absolute cheapest way to go across Turkey with train is like. So I'm going to do that. It's going to be about 31.5 hours. I'm really looking forward to this trip and really excited also to see Kars and some other cities. So make sure that you are subscribed so you can see those videos coming up after this one. But for now, I'm just going to chill out, relax, get some food, and then wait for the train as it pulls up. Alright, so the train just pulled up. We're about 20 minutes away from it taking off. I'm really looking forward to getting inside and showing you the inside of the train. Alright, so we started rolling at a pretty leisurely pace, and you can see we're going. Most people have pretty much already passed out, even though it's like 6:30 p.m. And it doesn't seem like everybody is going to the end of the line all the way to Kars. It seems like most people are going to get off along the way. So I have a feeling this car is going to get empty by the time we get toward the end. So I guess we'll find out in about 26 hours from now. But the seats are very comfortable. There's no Wi-Fi, unfortunately, so that's kind of a bummer. You're gonna definitely want to use your phone. And otherwise, just a lot of relaxed time. And I think probably I'm gonna hang out for a little while and then go to the food car and see what's going on in there. All right, so you're probably wondering how much this costs. It costs about $10 or $11 for the seat, and they get a bed, so to get one of the beds in the cabin, it's about $20. It's about $20. It's not a very expensive journey, although it does take a long time. It does take a whole day, and the touristic version of the train takes longer. It takes about 31 hours. This train, the local train, takes about 26 hours, and this one, the local, goes every day. So there's a train basically every day, whereas the touristic one is only about 3 times a week. Alright, so since we're here, we might as well take a look and see what the bathroom looks like. Alright, so the bathroom's not quite as clean as the bathroom on the Istanbul to Ankara train, and it's got a little bit of a smell, a little bit of that cigarette pee smell, and the toilet is full of pee. I guess the person before me forgot to flush. So that's enough of this toilet tour. The bathroom that's near my bathroom for the next days. So there isn't a ton of stuff to eat actually in the dining car. We have a couple of simit, which is like a Turkish bagel, some snacks and crackers, tea, and it says they have soup, but I didn't see any soup, so I'm gonna guess that's probably a thing that's not actually happening. But there are some tables out there, so you have more space. So if you bring food with you, which you definitely should, I brought some snacks. I brought some cheek köfte from the garage from the train station in Ankara. So you can bring all of those things and then enjoy them in the
the dining car. You can also bring alcohol if you want to drink a beer or something on the train, but you can't drink that in the dining car. So I don't know if they would say anything, but it's just listed as one of the rules, but you can have it at your seat where you can eat as well. And I just gotta say, the views so far already are just so beautiful, and I'm really excited that we have like 2.5 hours more of sun left, so I get more of these views outside. And then of course tomorrow morning it's gonna be a full day of just amazing views in the east of Turkey. Oh, and another thing about the train is before you get on, make sure that you charge and have a power bank with you. Make sure your laptop, your camera, everything is fully charged, because there are going to be no power outlets, or if there is one nearby, it's going to be really hard to find and actually use. But right now, we've had 2 stops. It's been about an hour, about 2 hours into the trip. The sun is going down, so perfect lighting for some really beautiful views. And then it's going to get dark, so I'm going to slowly start to get into sleep mode, and then hopefully sunrise. Hopefully I'll be awake for sunrise to see what's coming up next. So good morning. It's about 5:45 in the morning. The sun came up a little while ago, and it was just really nice to get these views as the sun is coming up. I slept pretty well. I gotta say, the train was pretty quiet. It doesn't stop as much as you would think it stops, so it's not like it's stopping, you know, every 10 minutes or something like that. It really, I feel like the time in between stops isn't too uncomfortable. They do leave the lights on though throughout the night, so if you are a light sleeper, you probably want to bring a sleeping mask or something to cover your eyes. But if you can sleep anywhere, kind of like I can, then it wasn't too bad. A couple of people got on during the night, a couple of people got off. The train is more or less still full. We're right now in between Shakşta and Sivas, which is right in the middle of Turkey, so it'll be interesting to see how many people get off in Sivas, because it's a big stop along the way. Other than that, I'm feeling good. It's I thought it would be more exhausting than it's turned out to be, but just being on this train and looking out the window and seeing all these amazing views really just sort of energized me, and I'm awake and just looking forward to getting to the final destination. Oh, and just an update on the bathroom. Oh yeah, it smells a lot worse now. So bathroom situation, not great. So a lot of people have been asking me as I've been making this video, is it safe? What does it feel like on the train? And I can say, yeah, it definitely feels very safe. There are a lot of families in the car. And once you get your seat, you pretty much know that you're going to be spending that seat, and you're going to be seeing all the people around you for the next 24 hours. So people are kind of aware of where everybody is. I mean, I'm out here, all my bags and all my stuff is just in the car, and I feel fine with it there. I don't think anybody's going to walk off, you know, and take something, because there are other people around. And also, there's not a lot of movement through the cars, not too many people walking through the cars, especially at this hour. And on top of that, you know, one other piece of advice I'd say is that as long as really the train is not stopped anywhere, that's probably when you might have somebody try to do something. But I mean, I feel pretty confident that my things are going to be there. And I've been walking out here into this car to film and just leaving my stuff. One thing I will say though is that they keep the train pretty warm at night, so the car is pretty warm, and the space in between the trains is actually a lot cooler. So if you need some fresh sort of cool air, then you can come in between the cars. But just keep in mind that you don't need a ton of jackets or blankets or anything when you're actually in the car, because they do keep it pretty warm. Alright, right now it's about 1:30, so about 19 hours into the trip. I've got about 7 hours to go. We're getting close to Erzincan, which is about right here, and now the landscape has changed into these rolling hills and mountains, these big mountains and cliffsides with lots of streams and small rivers running through it. It's really beautiful, and it's really good that the timing of the train ends up here when sunny. Definitely there is a lot of overnight time, but if you're gonna get the daytime, this is probably some of the best and most scenic views. So it's really nice that they timed it this way, except for the occasional tunnel, which doesn't usually last too long. So the stops along the way have been not very frequent, and they're pretty quick, except for two of the big cities where you stop for about 20 minutes or so. That's Sivas and Kayseri. Those are going to be longer stops, but otherwise the rest of the stops are pretty quick. Just people coming in and people leaving the train. And it's thinned out a little bit as we head towards Kars. As for me, I've just been kind of napping on and off, shooting videos, taking pictures, walking up and down all the different wagons. You can get in quite a bit of steps because the train is pretty long all the way to the front and the back, and just kind of enjoying my time. Just another note, if you go to the food car, make sure that you have cash. So before you take the Doe Express, you want to make sure you have enough cash for any snacks that you want, because they're not going to take credit cards. So just make sure that you have enough snacks, or you bring your own food. A lot of the families here have come super well prepared. Like, they've had a full 3 meals a day, eggs, bread, sandwiches, all kinds of stuff. They've come very prepared. I'm making do with snacks. And yeah, this is easily one of the most beautiful train rides I've ever been on. It might be the most beautiful one. It's definitely something that I highly recommend that you do if you can. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Not a lot of people do this. There are no tourists on the train at all that I've seen. It's absolutely beautiful. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You get to see all the way across Turkey, which is really nice, and not a lot of people do it. So definitely recommend taking Doe Express when you're coming to Turkey. Definitely set aside a few days for that if you can. Alright, so we have about 4 hours to go. We're almost at Erzurum, which is the last major city before we get to Kars. And I've got to say, the train is about 20% full as it was before. Now most people have gotten off. It's pretty quiet. There's a lot of space. You can spread out. You can lie down. Even if you just have seats, you got two seats next to each other, you can spread out, spread your things out. It's pretty relaxed. You can walk up and down the train. Everything's very quiet. The views, especially on this latter portion of the trip, have been absolutely amazing. It's a long journey. I am a little bit tired, of course, but it's definitely been worth it. It's definitely just been one of the best train rides I've ever had. Just one of the best, single journeys that I've ever had. So it's tiring, but it's also very, very beautiful. Also, the internet has been spotty, at least between Sivas and this part of the journey. It's been pretty spotty so far. Obviously, when you get to cities and stops, then you have more service. But it's been kind of nice to be disconnected, and I feel like I've lost all sense of time, which is one of the just really nice things about being on this train. That, yeah, I feel like I've been on here forever, but also like I just got started. Alright, so after about a 4.5 hour delay, I finally arrived in Kars. It was a total 32-hour, 1,300 kilometer trip, but it was really worth it. I'm pretty tired right now. I'm looking forward to getting into the hotel, but it was just a really fun, amazing time. The views were incredible. I made a lot of friends on the train. Turns out after about 32 hours on a train, you make friends with everybody around you. So it was really great. There were a couple of older people who normally would take the bus out, and when talking with them, they were just as in awe of the train journey as I was. So it was really nice to share that experience with them and to have this train trip and finally arrive. And this is one of those trips where I know I'm just gonna have a bunch of memories, and one of those lifetime trips that I keep remembering. All the shepherds as we got out east waving to the train, and all of the friendly people that were around sharing drinks, sharing food. Just a really nice and warm experience, and I'm really glad I did it, and I'm glad I'm in Kars now. And it's definitely a trip that if you're in Turkey and you have the time and you have the means, it's definitely a trip that you should consider taking, because it is just a wonderful travel experience. Now, I've got more videos coming up from Kars and the rest of Eastern Turkey, so make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss any of those coming up. Make sure you hit a like if you like this video, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And I did this probably in the absolute, not ideal way, but to me it was a lot of fun. I'm still wearing the same clothes and definitely time to brush my teeth, but what a fun time. What a fun time.